Imagine standing on the banks of a raging river, the skies darkened by storm clouds, knowing that across the waters lies one of the most formidable armies you've ever faced. An army led by a king whose name echoes with strength and valor, a king who stands beside war elephants, towering beasts that could crush your forces underfoot. This was the scene in 326 BCE, as Alexander the Great, the legendary Macedonian conqueror, prepared to face King Porus of the Punjab in what would become one of the most extraordinary battles of his military career, the Battle of the Hydaspes. This wasn't just a clash of armies, it was a masterclass in strategy, a demonstration of how terrain, weather, and the human spirit can all be harnessed in the art of war. The Hydaspes River, now known as the Yalem, was more than just a geographical obstacle. It was a formidable natural barrier that King Porus, a leader renowned for his imposing stature and courage, believed would protect his kingdom from invasion. Porus had strategically positioned his forces on the far side of the river, confident that its swollen waters would deter even the boldest of attacks. His army was no ordinary force. Thousands of well-trained infantry and cavalry, archers, and the fearsome war elephants, creatures that Alexander's men had never faced in battle. These elephants were the tanks of their time, capable of causing chaos and destruction in enemy ranks. Porus knew that if Alexander attempted to cross, he would be at a severe disadvantage, vulnerable to a direct assault as his troops struggled to emerge from the riverbanks. But Alexander was not a commander who played by the rules of conventional warfare. Known for his audacity and intelligence, he saw the Hydaspes as an opportunity rather than an obstacle. He needed to outthink Porus, to turn the battlefield into his own weapon. After days of feints and distractions, designed to mislead Porus about the true point of crossing, Alexander chose a night of storms and high winds to make his move. Under the cover of darkness and inclement weather, with rain pelting down and the river swollen, he led a select force of his best troops across the river at a point several miles upstream from the main camp. The crossing was fraught with danger-strong currents, the threat of being detected, and the challenge of keeping morale high amidst the uncertainty of night. But Alexander's leadership was unshakable. He inspired his men with his own presence at the front, as he always did, sharing in their risks and their hardships. By the time dawn broke, Alexander's forces were across the river and regrouped on the other side, ready for battle. The surprise was complete. Porus, realizing too late what had happened, had to rush his troops to meet the threat. The battle that ensued was one of the most intense and complex of Alexander's career. The Macedonians, with their phalanx formations and disciplined cavalry, were pitted against Porus's elephants and his own seasoned warriors. The elephants at first caused panic and confusion among Alexander's troops, charging through the Macedonian lines with sheer force. But Alexander, always quick to adapt, ordered his men to focus on the elephants' handlers, creating chaos among the beasts and turning them against their own lines. Meanwhile, Alexander himself led a cavalry charge that outflanked the Indian forces, creating a pincer movement that trapped Porus's army between the river and the Macedonian onslaught. The battle raged on, with both sides showing remarkable bravery and skill. Porus, despite being outmaneuvered, fought with incredible determination, standing tall on his war elephant, rallying his troops even as the tide turned against him. But the disciplined tactics of the Macedonians, combined with Alexander's ability to exploit every advantage the terrain offered, gradually wore down the Indian defenses. The heat, the humidity, the mud of the riverbanks all took their toll, and by the end of the day, the battlefield was littered with the bodies of men and elephants alike. Alexander's victory was decisive, but it was not without cost. The battle had been fierce, and the Macedonians had suffered significant casualties, but the strategic brilliance of their leader had once again turned what seemed an insurmountable challenge into a triumph. Impressed by Porus's valor and strength, Alexander did something that surprised many. He not only spared Porus's life, but reinstated him as the ruler of his lands, albeit under Macedonian suzerainty. This act of respect towards a defeated enemy was characteristic of Alexander's style. He recognized greatness in others and sought to incorporate it into his own expanding empire. The The Battle of the Hydaspes marked the furthest extent of Alexander's conquests into the Indian subcontinent. It was a demonstration not just of military might, but of the intellect and psychological insight that made Alexander one of history's greatest commanders. The battle also highlighted the rich cultural exchange between the Greek and Indian worlds, with Alexander's troops encountering new tactics, new terrains, and the awe-inspiring sight of war elephants. This battle was not just a physical confrontation, but a symbolic meeting of East and West, a clash of civilizations that would echo through history. For the soldiers who fought, it was a test of endurance, courage, and loyalty to their leaders. For Porus, it was a testament to his resilience and the enduring spirit of his people. And for Alexander, it was another chapter in his legendary campaign. A campaign that had seen him conquer lands and peoples far beyond the dreams of his Macedonian predecessors. As we reflect on the Battle of the Hydaspes, we see it not just as a military engagement, but as a moment where the boundaries of the known world were expanded, where the limits of human endurance and leadership were tested, and where the ambitions of one of history's greatest figures were both fulfilled and tempered. It stands as a reminder of the complexities of conquest and the enduring impact of those who dare to challenge the edges of their world. In the end, the battle did not just change the course of history, it changed the lives of all who were part of it, leaving a legacy that would inspire generations to come.